Okay, so take us through the first use case and talk us through what you're showing for those that are listening.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we have a Salesforce unmanaged package that we install for our clients, which has all of the automation and custom object to be able to track the lifecycle, pipeline, funnel
Hmm.
stages all on one custom object. So you can unify data across leads, contacts, accounts, the campaign data, the opportunity data. So you don't have to do Excel Olympics and pull all the data out of Salesforce and combine it somewhere and try and figure out a way to get all of the data in a really reportable format. And then also it helps you be able to do nonlinear buyer journeys, so you can track multiple journeys through the funnel, multiple journeys through pipeline, all in that object, and tie that back to a lead, creating a or lead or contact. So tying that into a one-to-many relationship between the person and the buyer and their journeys through your pipeline stages.
Yeah.
So I'm in our packaging org, and I want to take you through a few examples here. So I'm going to create a new lead called CS9. Now, one of the things that are the way that we've built this, it relies on your lead source data being updated. So most companies probably have some form of lead source data. What we need is the lead source latest, the lead source detail latest, and the lead source campaign latest. So think of this as the where and the what. Where did they come from? What did they do? So the where they come from could be, paid ads, or it could be an event, it could be organic social. And the what did they do could be like the specific event, it could be the content they downloaded, it could be demo forms. So in this example, I'm going to do paid social, LinkedIn, and it's the demo form. So in your marketing automation platform, you're going to have this data being updated, and then you're going to have your logic to determine, did they hit that tipping point? And the word tipping point or the phrase tipping point is very important. That's when we track these records and we create these records. Is when you hand over the record to sales. Essentially, that's where your pipeline should start, not just at the opportunities, the pre-opportunity stages of pipeline or your funnel, the bit there's a lot of companies really struggle to report on. That's where it starts. That's where we wanted to start tracking these and tie this back to.
Yeah. So where enters the funnel? Because of course, some people can enter your funnel beyond sales ready. We still backdate that data, which we'll probably show in those examples. But it's really, where was the source of that funnel? Like, what was the thing that started it?
Exactly. So your marketing automation platform has determined that they've hit the sales ready status. They should be handed over to sales, and then we've captured this. So I'm going to save. Now see here, we've got our lead, and then we have this lifecycle record.
Yeah.
Custom object.
So you'll see the custom object in our package called lifecycles. And so now we're looking at this record. So one thing to note here for those that are looking at it, there's checkboxes for each stage as well as the date, and that's great for conversion reporting. So you can actually do great conversion reporting from stage to stage. But one question that I get a lot actually on the custom object is, do we use this for our sales team to like pick up their leads and contacts? And it's like, no, you still want to work through and manage your leads and contacts the same way. The custom object is just listening for the changes and will update the data on it for the reporting. And there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to use a custom object. I mean, even down to your sales engagement platform isn't going to pull in a custom object data. So you can keep your team working through a same process. But in the back end, it's kind of listening for updates to update the custom object.
Yeah, exactly. So here you can see we've got the source information pulled from those latest fields onto the custom object. We've tied it to the lead. We have all the stage data. So like Chrissy said, the checkboxes that we could use to sum up for conversion rate reporting. We have the date times. And then we're going to talk about some of these other fields down here. So let's go through our buying stages. So now almost all our clients have some kind of engagement, sales engagement tool, like an outreach or sales loft. They're running activities there. We'll have automation to then be able to listen to the activity and then move them into a working stage. So then now they've hit the working stage, you go back to our custom object record here, and you'll see that the working checkbox has been updated in the working day. Now, a good amount of our clients these days have stage 0 opportunities for meeting booked. So I'm going to actually just create an opportunity now. So from lead convert, I'm going to create this opportunity. And in this example, say this is, the meeting gets booked, so we're creating this opportunity. Now I'm going to open up this contact, and you'll see the contact has the same life cycle. So this is the same life cycle record that I was had open before, and now it's tied to the previous lead, and the contact has all the same information on it. And you can see now we have the opportunity date here. So what this really helps solve is that you've got lead and contact. If you were tracking date stamps on the lead and the contact, now you have to use some reports for the lead to calculate some of the data for your funnel, some reports on the contact, stitching that data somewhere, a load of faff to be able to get good reporting. Now I've just still got that all in this lifecycle record.
Yeah, and one thing to note here, we're calling this stage opportunity because that's when an opportunity was created. But a lot of our clients will call this meeting booked, and we'll suggest that for clients to call that stage, because that's usually when we suggest creating an opportunity. But we know that some companies create opportunities maybe after the meeting was completed and so forth. So you have flexibility there.
Yeah, and we can adjust for pretty much any buying process, and there's a lot of customization that we can do to this. What we're showing here is kind of just like the base level starting point that we'll start with, and then we'll adjust it for each of our clients' needs.
Yep.
So in this opportunity now, I'm going to actually closed lost, and I'm going to choose a closed lost reason. I'm going to say it's lost to competitor. And now we've been working on the opportunity object, but because our life cycle, if I go back here and look, and it has the opportunity information, so once that opportunity gets created, it's going to tie that to the opportunity. I'm going to refresh because it was closed lost. Now you can see we're in the opportunity closed lost lifecycle stage on this lifecycle record. We've got a lost date, and we've got the loss to competitor in here, the opportunity stage. And then if we go back to the contact status has been updated to remarket and lost to competitors. So, the automation has handled the updating of the lifecycle record, the updating of the contact record. Everything is aligned, and you've now got this lifecycle as essentially closed, and it's not going to be, that's now retained. That journey is retained, but it's not going to kind of be progressed any further.
Yeah. One thing to also note, we won't need to go through it too much, but there is an owner kind of like user history, which is also really beneficial because you can actually see, who moved it to a working stage, who was the owner when there was a connection, and so forth. As you know, with SDRs or sales reps, there's, reassignments and can happen and so forth. So it actually gives you a better history of who was the actual person that was doing the updates or actually help them progress to that stage, which is really nice.
Yeah. So that shows you just a really standard use case of, lead gets worked, updating lifecycle record, goes through stages, updates lifecycle record, opportunity gets created, update lifecycle record, opportunity gets closed, update lifecycle record. Now you can see how kind of it's unified all of that data onto that record. Because we've got the contact tied there, we can pull any account fields onto this record. Because we've got the opportunity tied onto this, we can pull any opportunity fields onto this record. We've got the lead data on here. We've got the source data, all of the conversion data. So really helpful to get really simple reporting. Now, in this example, I'm going to, for this contact, so if you don't do this, you probably should. Most clients that we work with, I'd say all actually, they have their stages both on leads and contacts. So now a contact can be closed lost. Give it 6 months, maybe this contact resurfaces, and then they become sales ready again. But before I do that, I'm going to go down here and say, okay, so say there's got closed last 6 months has passed, like I mentioned. They go to an event. It's a trade show. And we'll call it like XYZ show.
Fun.
And then because they went to that trade show, because they're in remarket, now they get
maybe they're
sales ready again.
Did a demo.
Now, if you go to the contact here, now I have 2 lifecycle records. Okay. So in that paid social one, the one I was on previously, that one stays the same, right? Nothing's going to change on that. That data is retained forever. But if I open up this second lifecycle record here, now I have another one with the event information. The lifecycle status is sales ready and is tied to the contact. And similar thing, we're going to go, if we want to go through the different contact stages, we'll go to working. Working date gets updated. Let's create an opportunity from this contact.
And maybe create it in stage 1. Say you were like a sales rep and you accidentally, or they forgot
or like move it just like to stage 4 or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see what happens.
So we'll update and just create it in a later stage, so it doesn't go to just like that first stage. It's essentially skipping that meeting bit and going straight into pipeline. So we'll save this opportunity. Oh, need a close date. Got to keep your validation rules here. Okay, now we've got this new opportunity. Let's go back to this lifecycle record. And look, so it's actually updated every prior stage. Like we will always kind of back populate for anything that skips forward as well. It's hit the pipeline opportunity, which is, I think in this packaging, it looks like stage 2 or stage 1. I forget, like one of the early stages of the opportunity, but not stage 0. And then we've updated the date time there. Now let's go to that opportunity. It's this one. Let's add an amount here. This is a big opportunity. Oh, too big.
Too big.
This is a what? Is that a $10 billion opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can see down here, we've got the opportunity amount. It's tied to the new opportunity. We've got the opportunity stage. And then let's win this opportunity. Let's go here. And it's won. We just won a $10 billion opportunity. Now the lifecycle status is set to close 1. We've got a 1 date. We've got the opportunity information. All of these numbers here is 0 because this is the time between each stage. But obviously I've just been doing this today. It's essentially just taking these date times and calculating the days between stage that we can use for stage velocity reporting. And now you've got it. So we've got this contact that's been through 2 life cycles. Now, if they do a customer journey, we can create another life cycle record.
Yep.
We can tie this back to more than just like marketing. We can do partner, we can do outbound. I'm actually going to take you through an outbound example quickly as well. But you can see kind of the 2 big use cases for this are unifying the data into one object for really easy reporting, because we're not having to pull data off loads of different objects for that reporting. And then number 2, being able to have multi-journey, nonlinear buyer journey reporting, where a lot of clients, they will have date stamps on the lead and contact, and they're overwriting those dates.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, say you have 100 MQLs in January, 50 of them get recycled, and then those 50 then re-MQL in July. Now, if you're using the last MQL date in your reporting, your now January MQL number is down to 50, and everyone's like, wait, I thought our MQLs was 100 in January. Yeah. So
I think another thing that we see that is kind of crazy is like some people would be like, I want to create purposeful duplicate leads just so I can get conversion data. Ooh, if you saw, like, you might as well, you want to just work from that same contact. So even though Charlie was updating a contact who was already a contact, we're still able to get that reporting instead of having to like do a true conversion from a lead to a contact. So that's another thing to know, because surprisingly we see that a lot. We also see a lot of people just not sales ready any contacts, which actually we're doing an audit on a client, and I literally was messaging one of our client leads about it this morning. So it happens. It's happening. So
there's a lot of weird stuff that people do to try and get around this, and there's a very elegant solution of just using a custom object.
Yeah. Okay. Final use case, outbound. Like, how are we tracking outbound funnels?
Yeah. So I'm going to go here, and So in our unmanaged package. So one of the things I actually want to call out with the unmanaged package. So, you can take what we're showing you here and try and build this, right? It seems relatively simple to get this built out, but there are a lot of edge cases you have to think about. So, for example, I forget how many for
It's
just
like
lead
30.
conversion, like 35 different
Yeah,
lead
35.
conversion scenarios. It's like lead converts into a contact, not creating an opportunity. Lead converts into a contact, creating an opportunity. Lead converts into a merging into an existing contact, creates an opportunity. Lead merging into an existing contact, not create. All of those different examples
Yep.
all have different outcomes.
Mhm.
Like if you're merging, we need to potentially merge the lifecycle records. So think of that, and now think of every different step of this needs to have some kind of edge case scenario handling. And also, there's other things that I'm about to show you here that are just like kind of just another piece that just turns this into a much bigger project than people realize. So in this example, I'm going to take you through Outbound.
Okay.
So, almost all our clients, again, they're doing a good amount of outbound. There might not be a marketing source for those.
Yeah.
And they want to know, okay, they also want to know, like, how much are we going outbound? How many leads and how much kind of, how many funnels or life cycles have we started through outbound? And then what are our conversion rates for outbound so we can help optimize our outbound flow? So I've logged in as a sales user. So this is in our managed package. As when you're a sales user, now if you create a record, so I'm going to call this a CS11, and you just start working them, you've just gone, okay, I've found this person, I'm just going to start, or I know this person from a previous thing or whatever. I've just decided I'm going to call this person, start working them. And this could be, you created this record, added them to a sales loft sequence, and then it's automatically moved them to working. Now we have a life cycle that is tied back to sales generated. Now this can be modified, right? So
Yeah.
if, for example, there's like a certain signal that led to that outbound. So say, for example, there's a job change and now you've got a tool that can send you, this person's changed to a new company. If we have a way to automate updating those latest fields, from that, and then sales goes outbound, we can update the lifecycle source to the signal data.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing in the example that I showed you here, we're just going to put it as sales generated.
Yeah. Some people also call it like sales outbound,
right?
Sales generated, or just outbound if you don't want to call it sales outbound, because as you know, marketing is probably helping them do that outbound. So
yeah, exactly. And because it skipped the sales ready, we're still populating it because they went straight to working. And this is important because we want to be able to, when we're reporting on this, just group by the sales ready date and just have all of the records there to be able to show. So even though they've kind of skipped that, sales ready is essentially that tipping point. They hit that tipping point, right? Because sales decided to go outbound.
Yep.
So we're still marking that as sales ready.
I think this is a great example to show why we like calling that stage sales ready as well, and not just MQL, because traditionally MQLs are just what gets from scoring, from marketing, and sent over to sales. But in this case, you're saying, well, we also want to track an outbound funnel. Well, if this is kind of saying that the salesperson or SDR is saying that that record is sales ready, is ready for them to start working it. And that's why we'll still backdate that stage. You can have your different types of sales ready leads, which can be useful for reporting. So you can split these funnels by outbound, hand raisers, even, or just like what gets sent from marketing is like your more traditional kind of MQL criteria. But you want to still create funnels for these, because like how many times has marketing come to the table with data to try and show MQLs and how they're flowing through the funnel, and then sales comes to that same meeting, goes, this is how many opportunities we generated, and it's going to look massively different. Marketing's just going to be reporting on MQL funnels, but as we know, people can enter the funnel in different stages, as well as different sources like partners and so forth. And so it gives you that more unified and holistic view of where all of your pipeline is coming from, starting at sales ready. And you can then slice those and see like the conversion rates and how they compare. So getting a real insight into what go-to-market motions are performing at a certain rate for velocity and revenue and so forth. So yeah, that's a big reason why we call it sales ready, but also giving you a better sense of why this truly is a unified view.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'll show here, so I think I've got this just on today. So really simple report now. There's a lot of different reports you can create from this, but just showing you the records today and kind of how they're rolling up here. So we can just see kind of the number of sales ready, the number of working, the conversion rate. So this is, the 2 sales ready, one of them got to opportunity and one didn't. So the 50% conversion rate, we got the sum of opportunity amount. This is just tying it back to that lifecycle source campaign, but you could tie it back to the lifecycle source, the detail, the combination of campaign and detail.
Yep.
You can look at conversion rates through all stages. You can create graphs. You can use this table, the custom object table, sync it to BI exactly how it is and create a lot of different reporting. And you can bring in cost information and then do ROI reporting on this. The goal of this was to just simplify that reporting flow.
Yeah.
So instead of being like, okay, I've got all of these objects, I'm going to try and do snapshots or whatever. Now I've got to kind of get all this data and manually push it into a certain format and then do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is just working now. We have the data that we need for all of this file data. And now we can start building models off that. Now we can start using that in our BI tool. Now we can start building out the reports that we need for the CMO dashboard, the finance dashboard, the different team dashboards, and drill down into it without all the drama that it takes to get all the reporting.
Yep.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
A lot more we can talk about there, and we'll probably dig into it in other podcasts. But we've had a lot of questions about this, and just wanted to show it.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is there are other methods that when people say using a custom object, I think some people will create a custom object record for every stage, not something we suggest or do. So I just wanted to clear that as well because I've gotten that question recently. But anywho, yeah, for those who are watching, hopefully that was really useful. For those who are listening, you can come back and watch this on our YouTube channel. And yeah, hopefully it was useful. So
switching gears.